In many product organizations, the engineering backlog operates as a mindless execution machine. Thousands of identical feature tickets cascade downward, driven by a relentless ticking clock, where success is measured solely by the volume of output. Yet, research from Donald Reinertson indicates that roughly 85% of product managers do not know the actual economic cost of delaying those initiatives. Without that quantification, prioritization becomes a purely qualitative exercise. Roadmaps are built on internal politics, stakeholder demands, and gut feelings, rather than economic reality. This reveals a significant error in how we view the role. Product strategy is not about maximizing feature delivery. Optimizing for localized output creates a development treadmill, not enterprise value. True strategy requires a diagnosis of the critical bottlenecks in a business and the coordinated management of resources under conditions of deep uncertainty. Escaping the feature factory requires a transition away from qualitative guessing and toward the rigorous economic quantification of time and alternatives. Building this model starts with a fundamental constraint. Engineering capacity is finite. Every decision to build one feature is an explicit decision not to build another. To manage these trade-offs, we use the first mathematical lever, cost of delay. This mathematical lever defines the precise economic impact of delaying a new capability by a single unit of time. The formula is simple. By estimating the total life cycle value of an initiative and dividing it by its duration, we derive the specific daily financial value that initiative generates. This surfaces our second lever, opportunity cost. It represents the enterprise value sacrificed by choosing one path over the alternative. These calculations reveal the hidden value destroyed by engineering queues. Every day a feature sits in a backlog, the enterprise actively loses money. This is why qualitative scoring and gut feelings fail. They cannot account for the economics of time. Instead, teams use quantitative models like weighted shortest job first to prioritize by economic impact. Relying on cost of delay replaces emotional debate with financial evidence. It aligns development directly with the generation of enterprise value. But that quantification is only the beginning. Once we understand the value of our initiatives, we have to decide how quickly we can actually act on them. Jeff Bezos institutionalized a system at Amazon for categorizing decisions based on how easy they are to walk back. Type 1 decisions are one-way doors. They are highly consequential and nearly irreversible, like acquiring a company. These require methodical deliberation. Type 2 decisions are two-way doors. These are reversible, lower consequence choices, like running a pricing experiment. The primary organizational failure occurs when companies apply heavyweight Type 1 processes to simple Type 2 decisions. Using a methodical, slow-moving process for reversible choices leads to unthoughtful risk aversion and slows execution to a crawl. Conversely, companies that apply rapid, lightweight Type 2 processes to irreversible Type 1 decisions risk making mistakes that lead to total extinction. Strategic agility requires this dual-speed model, empowering autonomous action for reversible choices while enforcing intense rigor for irreversible ones. We've looked at singular decisions, but at the macro level, leadership must manage a portfolio of hundreds of concurrent bets. To maintain balance, we differentiate between incremental bets and strategic bets, which are high-leverage, transformational changes. Models like Google's 70-20-10 rule provide explicit guardrails for this balance. 70% of capacity goes to the core, 20% to adjacent opportunities, and 10% to transformational bets. We can map these directly onto McKinsey's 3 Horizons framework to see their temporal maturity. Core keeps the lights on today, while transformational bets secure the company's future in Horizon 3. However, organizations often fall for the focusing illusion, where short-term, incremental features for the core product consume all available executive attention. This illusion causes the core business to cannibalize the capital and energy required for transformational Horizon 3 bets, which are often harder to justify in the short term. Strategic portfolio management is essentially the act of protecting that transformational capacity from the constant gravity of the core business. Protecting that capacity is difficult because Horizon 3 bets exist in environments of high market uncertainty and technical risk. Traditional financial modeling, like net present value, fails here because it cannot account for the value of future flexibility in a volatile market. This is where we apply real options theory, a framework that treats strategic corporate investments like financial options. In the discovery stage, organizations identify shadow options by breaking down exogenous and endogenous uncertainties. This shifts how we value early research. Instead of viewing initial R&D as a sunk cost, we treat it as an option premium, a small, non-recoverable fee paid today to secure strategic flexibility for tomorrow. That flexibility is captured in the exercise stage. The organization uses the right, but not the obligation, to expand a project if it's successful, or abandon it if market conditions deteriorate. Structuring a project with an explicit option to abandon acts as a put option, capping downside risk. An option to expand acts as a call option, capturing the massive upside of a successful bet. In uncertain markets, the value of a project is not its immediate revenue. It is the strategic flexibility it creates for the future. This brings us back to the kernel of strategy, a diagnosis of the critical bottleneck, followed by a coordinated policy of action. These frameworks form a single strategic engine. Ideas are quantified by cost of delay, triaged through Type 1 and 2 gates, sorted into allocation buckets, and executed as real options. By integrating these systems, a product organization escapes the build trap and begins focusing on outcomes over outputs. Strategic leadership is the discipline of knowing when to commit, when to wait, and when to abandon, all supported by economic proof.